What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today we have a really cool knife. This is the Pena X Series Apache. This one was sent to me by my buddy Jake over at Bearded Gear and has been modded by a friend of ours. Stay tuned. Welcome back. All right, so Pena X Series line of knives are the Pena Designs, which is, I believe, an American maker. Boy, I'm going to be embarrassed. But they're made by Riot. And if you've watched my channel for a while, you'll know that Riot made knives. They are the creme de la creme of the overseas manufacturers. I absolutely love everything that they've done. And if it says that it's made by Riot, I can pretty much guarantee that I'm going to like the manufacturing aspect of them. And I like the design, but I'm going to like their manufacturing. And it is no different with this guy right here. This one is a fun one because it has such a traditional style look with this bolster and micarta. And of course, modified by Jason over at the Millipara 3. Wait, shit, I always do this. The Millipara 3. Millie PM2 Para 3 Club. Jesus. I'm going to get so much help from Jake and Kevin over that because I can never do it. But as you can see, the bronze titanium here and with the pocket clip and the back spacer, it is absolutely my favorite color on titanium. And so whenever Jake said he was getting this done by Jason, and then I saw a picture of it, I was like, that looks badass. And it does. This is the way it should come from Riot and Pena knives. So yeah, you can look up pictures of what they. I mean, as far as the regular titanium that's on here, but with this micarta, I think it looks really, really good. It's a small guy. I like bigger knives, right? But it's neutral enough and long enough where I'm okay with it. All right, we'll get size, a closer look, size comparison, flip the camera around here in a little bit. But, it's kind of small. However, it's not a flipper. It is a front flipper. And the front flipper is kind of cool. Your average, whatever you want to call it, front flipper looks like this, to where you use your thumb and you flick it. This is the Artisan Cutlery Centauri. I think this is my second front flipper. But I love this knife. The front flipping action is very well. But that's your traditional, I guess, style of front flip. This one, as you can see, is a little bit different. The jimping and the way this sits right above it is pretty cool. So how I do it is like a Bic lighter. Everybody should know what a Bic lighter is. But I just put my thumb here and roll it back. And then boom, out pops the blade. Very intuitive, very easy to do. When you get a front flipper, it takes a minute to kind of get used to it, okay? If you're not used to it. This one, however, I think is a lot more intuitive for those who have never had a front flipper and want one, because like I said, you're just flicking it like a Bic lighter, and I think everybody is, familiar with that. This is an excellently done bolster lock with that micarta inlay. So you don't have to worry about getting your fingers on the lock bar or anything. You hold this thing, you use the pocket clip, and boom. Flips it out there. Now, lefties, I know it doesn't work really well for a lefty because if you go watch Lefty EDC's video, my brother Kevin, he will tell you that it doesn't work as well for lefties because you don't have that clip. And and he's right. I'm trying to do this left-handed, and I don't feel, I can do it, but I don't feel as secure. I feel like I'm going to drop the thing. So that's something to keep in mind and be aware of. But for right-handed, it's really nice. Now, as you can see there, with it being a Riot-made product, the action, is Riot. It's a Riot-made knife, and they do it very, very well. There is absolutely no complaints for the action, the fit and finish, or anything as far as manufacturing is concerned on this knife. There is nothing to complain about. Now, you can see your logo there, maybe. Pena X Series. And then on this side, you have M390. So wonderful materials as far as titanium, M390, and a beautifully done micarta. It is a reverse Tonto, what they call the blade shape. And I would agree with that. Reverse Tonto, that's fine. Very usable blade shape. Very, very nice cutter. It's about 17 thousandths behind the edge, which is kind of impressive because it's a thin blade, right? Very high saber grind. Very nice satin finish on the blade. You've got you've got your belt satin, which is on the bevel, and then you have another satin, which is going, the grind lines are going this way. It's a very beautiful blade, and of course, I would not expect anything else from Riyadh. I like the design because they do have a sharpening tool there, which is very, very nice. Usually these thin blades are a little bit harder to do on some of like the KME, which I've got. I don't believe this will be a problem, but when they're thinner, it makes it a little bit harder to clamp and have your clamp have clearance. So that's usually why I don't like the thinner blades like this. But this one is an absolute beast when it comes to slicing and doing those EDC tasks throughout the day. It's really cool. Now, there is another way to flip this knife that's not as intuitive. Jake, or Kevin, I think, is the one who calls it, and maybe a lot of people do, but Kevin was the first person that I heard called reach around. Putting your finger back here and just kind of pulling backwards. It's not as intuitive, but yeah, see, I just got through doing it off camera. There we go. Not as intuitive, but it can be done. I'm kind of sitting it in the palm of my finger, kind of turning around this way and doing it like that. Definitely can be done. It's nice that you can try doing something like that because it just breaks up the monotony of just doing the same thing over and over. But it's a thing. It also, keeping with the traditional style, has a nail nick. So you can definitely use this as a traditional knife and go ahead and pull it open that way if you don't want to just flick the thing out. If you're, at a party with a bunch of scaredy cats and they don't want you to do that, that's something that you can do. Fucking idiots. But this one does have a steel lock bar insert. Lockup is absolutely wonderful, and it is not going anywhere. It's very, very solid. Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and cut something, right? Let's go ahead and cut a little piece of paracord. Ha! Like no resistance. I'm telling you, it's a slicey little beast. Let's go ahead and do some cardboard. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. See? That one looked like it tore a little bit. Might have been me. Oh, yeah. See, I'm curving up with that. So, slicey little thing. Definitely going to do what you need it to do as far as an EDC knife. The lightweight task, open packages and clamshell packages, tape, cardboard. It's going to do very, very well for that. Ergonomically, for me, I'd like it to be a little bit longer. But as you can see, if I'm back here right behind the blade, I can still get 4 fingers on it. You can't see anything because it's barely there, but I can still get 4 fingers on it. Would I like it to be a little bit longer? I would, and I would probably like it better if it was. That's just a personal preference for hand size. But you got smaller hands than me. This thing is pretty badass. I have to admit that it's a very fun knife to play with. Front flippers are just fun anyways. And this one just kind of breaks the monotony of my other front flippers, which deploy the other way. Riyadh made, which I just freaking love them, I'm telling you. Let's go ahead and get behind the camera. We'll get a closer look at the way Jason's wonderful anode job, the micarta, and the Riyadh made product, and then we'll get some size comparisons and some specs. What do you say? All right, welcome back. So before we get a closer look at this, I kind of lied to you. I said this was my first Pena X series, but it wasn't. But it's just my first knife. This is the Pena X series bolt action pen that I have received I purchased this off of Lefty EDC. Really have enjoyed this. I also have a tactile turn pen that I am in the process of going over, and we're going to do a comparison between these two. But yeah, this is a Pena knife, or Pena bolt action pen. Very well made. So here we go. This is the Apache. Golly, I love that color on this green micarta, which is just excellently done. Look at that. Oh my gosh. It just looks really, really well. Really, really well done. Jason did an absolute great job. We didn't really talk about the pocket clip. You know, the pocket clip for me is absolutely perfect because it goes in and out of pocket really well. It's a little bit thin as far as how much room you have, but it doesn't sit deep carry. And for a knife like this, I really don't care. I grabbed it like this going out of my pocket and it works really well. Of course, a knife like this in the size, it is definitely I'm trying to see if I can middle finger flick because I've got it right before I got on here, but I can't. It is a very like secondary knife for me, right? It's not something that I would carry as a primary. I think it would work well for a lot of the minimalists out there who like the smaller, lightweight knives. But for me, it is definitely a secondary knife, and it just really works well in that role. So the reason being is because of the size. We have an overall length of 6.5 inches, so it is a small knife. Blade length of 2.75 and a cutting edge of 2.625, so you definitely have a smaller blade length and cutting edge, so if you live in a communist state, you will be good. Hey, people and their knife laws. The blade thickness is about 120 thousandths. Yeah, I think that's correct. You know, Bowler M390 reverse Tonto flat grind with a satin on it, and it does have a handle length of 3.625. Handle width is about 0.875, so still really thin this way, but I like the way it swells out because it helps with that grip. It does have a handle thickness of 0.52, which also helps out if you have bigger hands because it fills the hand well. And it weighs about 2.52 ounces. So as far as an EDC blade, come on, you can't get better than this if you like something small and lightweight. This thing is classy. This thing, I believe you pull it out and people are going to be like, man, yeah, I like that. What the heck is it? And you can tell them now it's not exactly cheap. It is, you know, a Pena design made by Riot with all these great materials. So it does cost, you know, you're going to pay for that. But it is definitely worth it, guys. If you are kind of on the fence about Riot made products because of the price, don't be. It's really, really that good of manufacturing. It's about a $274 knife, which, you know, for some is way too much, and for other people, it's like, oh, okay, that's not that bad. So it kind of depends on where you fall. But if you are a collector or a knife enthusiast, I think this is a good one, especially if you like the smaller EDC knives. Well, let's put it up against some of the ones that I have. So here it is against the Quiet Carry Waypoint. Definitely a longer blade. As you can see, I use this one quite a bit because it is kind of dirty. Definitely a longer blade, but around the same price. You get titanium, Van Eck Super Clean Steel, titanium micarta M390. This one's around $300, so maybe just a little bit cheaper on the Pena. But as far as aesthetics is concerned, I mean, this one has it hands down. It's just a beautiful, beautiful looking knife. Now, the only other style, you know, traditional style knife that I would say that is kind of modern traditional is the Civivi Rustic Gent. I do like this knife. This one has micarta carbon fiber, D2 steel, clip point blade, but a very nice option for somebody looking for that. This is a back lock versus a bolster lock, which I absolutely love way more than a back lock. But yeah, you know, it's about the only other knife that I have that will compare to that traditional style of a knife. Now, I do want to, I'm putting the wrong one away. I do want to give you this next size comparison, which is one of my favorite smaller knives. And the reason I brought this one out is because it is also made by Riot. And if you've watched my review of this knife or a couple of reviews where I bring this out, is absolutely my favorite smaller knife to date, hands down, ever. A gift from my buddy Kevin Lefty EDC, because the man is just freaking, I love him so much. But as you can see, micarta, this one has, wow, is this LMAX or M390? Now I don't remember because it doesn't really matter. Yeah, this is an LMAX. But the quality that you get from Riot is absolutely outstanding, and you can see it in both of these knives as far as the action, fit, and finish, and materials used. As far as, I mean, obviously this is a smaller knife, not by much as far as overall length, but definitely a little bit thinner, and it's going to carry a little bit better for those minimalist guys out there, even though this one is an absolute beast. It's really, really nice. Now, Kevin made this finger choil a little bit bigger for me by BJ Hill, which turns this into an ergonomic dream for my hand. The other ones do not have that forward finger choil as big, so definitely don't take mine for that because it's a lot smaller. But these two knives, oh, I mean, I've got a couple of knives made by Riot. The Chavez 229, also one of my favorite knives of all time. I mean, the grinds, the fit and finish, and the quality you get is second to none, guys, from an overseas manufacturer. So, anyways, this knife, can I recommend? Oh, I can definitely recommend. I mean, it's not for me because of the size. But, oh my gosh, if you're looking for a traditional looking style knife with modern materials made by a just stellar manufacturer, oh man, and Pena, you know, the Pena knives, this is the first one. I've been really wanting to check out the Mula. That one looks really cool. Jake did have one of those, but he has already traded / sold it, I think. So, yeah, if you have one of those, anybody have one of those they want to send over for review, I would love to check that one out because, you know, he does have some designs that are different than this. Some are similar, and I just think he's killing it. So definitely go check him out, and I will put a link if I can find these anywhere. I don't know if I can in the description. And, of course, I will link down my brother Jake over at Bearded Gear. Everybody knows who he is because he's just freaking awesome. He is killing it over there on his channel, but I will link it down below if you have not heard of Jake from Bearded Gear, where you can go and check it out and give him a sub. So, guys, you are awesome. I thank you so much for stopping by, checking it out with me. Stay safe in this crazy world that we are living in, and we will see you in the next one.